minutes and then start. 10-second pause and start.
Yes. Yeah. Welcome all to another discussion and screening of Nila International Folklore Film Festival, the Panorama screenings. Today we are discussing a film by Manipuri filmmaker Haobam Paban Kumar. Paban Kumar hails from Manipur. He is alumnus of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute. He had made fictional films, documentaries, which have been screened in international festivals, which have got awards in India and other places. Welcome, Paban, to the discussion. We'll start it away.
Hi.
Thanks for accepting our invitation to screen the film as well as take part in this discussion. We're grateful for
My
you
pleasure.
in your busy schedule. Yeah, we'll just start with one thing. I've heard you telling about you wanted to make fictional films, but it took 2 or 3 documentaries for you to reach to what the fictional film you want to make. So, how was your documentary experience? We'll start with that. AFSPA about the AFSPA documentary as well as Function, which we are screening in the festival. How was it? Why did it take 2 documentaries to reach to a fictional film? Yeah.
Fiction. When I started my career, I always wanted to do fiction films. And those days, I think when I was thinking of having a career in filmmaking, we hardly used to watch any documentaries. It's only Bollywood and Hollywood films which we have been watching, and those were the kind of movies we wanted to do. And I think it was only Discovery or National Geographic we used to watch some of these films. But it was only after, I think, after I decided to come into to have a career in filmmaking that I started watching documentaries. Even now also, I think it's very difficult to watch documentaries. Uh, the kind of setup distribution system we have in India, I think still it's very much limited to film festivals and documentary film festivals. And maybe now you can access some documentaries through the web OTT platforms and all. But even now, also, I think it's very difficult to have to watch documentary films. So also, I think being from Manipur, I think documentary was a very natural choice. Though I wanted to do fiction films, I think I kept on making documentaries because so many things were happening in front of me, and you can't just ignore it, right? So I think
Second question I was about to come to. You coming from a place which is politically turbulent and socially turbulent. Obviously, documentary will be part of your fiction, and which we can see also. Coming back to Function, uh, how did you reach to Function? Loktak will be it will be known to you. So how did you reach to that particular film? How did you went for another thing, or you wanted to make a film on the fisherman community of Loktak, or how was it?
Loktak is always an attraction, and especially for we people, we the valley people of Manipur. Uh, we look our folk song, our folklores, everything is related. It's around the lake only. Uh, but this documentary happened accidentally, actually. Uh, uh, I was doing the recce of my feature film, and then so when I went for the recce of the film, the place where I was supposed to, the location where I thought I will shoot the, maybe one of the locations for the fiction film. When we reached there, the whole village was not there. It just vanished. So at that particular moment, I decided that this I have to make a film on this. And also, I always wanted to do the fiction the way I have been doing documentaries. So I thought it will be good if if I do a documentary so that I can know the people better. I also wanted non-actors to act in the film. So I thought that is the best way to go about it is to make a documentary. And so I started rolling my camera the day I started my recce for my feature film, and my feature film got postponed for 3 years. It took me almost 3 years to complete this film, and so my first debut film again got delayed for 3-4 more years. That's how this film came into being.
Yeah, that film actually it's kind of it starts with a recce kind of thing. You searching for something,
Yeah,
then it takes to the
that
people.
is
The form
actually
of the film itself is actually you exploring that place. Was it a very conscious decision, or like documentaries which comes to an editing table, a form kind of thing? Did it happen in the editing table, or was it planned like that? Like you exploring that place and understanding the problems. The film should be structured in the same way.
no the I think the narrative, the structure, the treatment of the film was already investigative in nature, since the day I came to know about the vanishing of that particular village. So I wanted it to be an investigative journey. That approach was already from there from the beginning, and also through the investigation, it was also about learning the people. Though I also belong to the same community, but I hardly knew about their life, and and also one thing which came into the course of the shooting was the the kind of rhythm they have, the kind of relationship the people have with a particular place. So. I somehow wanted to capture the rhythm of the place, and the way they kind of use the net, the way they uh, row the boat, or So I basically, my whole idea was to capture the rhythm of the place, so that the people who are telling them to leave the place, they might, because their whole argument was, this houses are floating, so these are not land. So you can't claim that you are the native of the place. So my whole idea, if you have seen the film, it's about capturing the rhythm, and the way they do things in the lake. It's not something which we or you can just go into it. It takes, that it has they
Yeah.
belong to that place, they are rooted to that place. So idea was to capture that, which I was happy to have a sequence of all those. It was very lyrical for me, the whole uh, taking out the fish from the net, and the catching of the fish. There was a whole rhythm, and I think I have a whole sequence on that. That it was just to tell people, the authorities, that you can't just tell them to leave the place. They had the native of the place. You can't just tell them to leave. So the treatment was pre-decided, but the small I keep on exploring things, and even during this whole journey, my fiction story kept on molding. So when you see my feature film, somehow I have molded that story in the real life situation of
I
the
think one of the
fishing
characters
community.
is the main lead of your feature film. Also, one of the characters which you are going and seeing in the documentary. He has acted in the Lady of the Lake movie. The whole.
Yes, he was
Ah,
the first person whom I met on in the lake while going inside the lake. So, and they are real time couples. Both of them are real couples.
you used to make movies before SRFTA also. You have said in many of your interviews, and so how do you think what has been changed in your filmmaking style in pre-SRFT era or post-SRFT era? Why I'm asking is you coming from a place
Yeah, yeah.
which there is no not much of fraternity of filmmakers or a filmmaking thing which is happening in that place. There are filmmakers. I'm not saying there are no filmmakers, but there is you can see in other mainland places where there is this brotherhood. So how do you I hope you understood what I meant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So how do
I,
you
al- I always believe in film education because I think you need to at least it's not like theater or any other art form. You need to know the camera. You need to know the edit basic, at least the basics of camera, lenses, editing, sound. So I always I always thought that the best, I should always go to the best institute in the country. And it took me almost 6 years to go to the film school. There were 3 0 years in between, and somehow in the third trial I tried for FTI and SRFTI. So it took me almost 6 years to go to the film school, and finally I got admission in 2002. I've been trying since '96 because I believe in film education, and also it was also about watching cinema, because as I told you, I was exposed to certain kind of cinema only. So film going to film school those days was also about going and watching films. Now you can easily watch so many films, it's easily available, but those days I think it was very limited. And one thing that has changed, for me, I think the best thing that happened to my life is going to the film school. It has it was not just about you learn filmmaking. I think I've seen my friends who have never done films. They learn the craft within 6 months. I think it's not that difficult to learn that craft. uh, but it was more about staying in the place, staying in the environment where you get to discuss films, you get to watch films. I think that was very important, more than anything else. And and the and also it gave like, suppose for the documentary filmmaking, I mean, earlier I used to always think that it has more to do with reality, so you can never script a documentary. But now I know that after coming out of film school, you can always script a documentary. You can, I mean, it's not about, you can always have a vision. You can always have a treatment. You can always have an approach which can be decided beforehand. And that that actually, that creativity thing you really enjoy. You think of something, you script something, you decide on doing a treatment, certain kind of treatment. Like in Phum also, I decided for going for the investigative
invest?
kind of thing. And when you finish the film, you kind of enjoy that, because you try to somehow visualize something. And then otherwise, if you don't have a proper script, or an approach, then you will keep on shooting everything, and sometimes you just make a film on the editing table. Maybe people might not know it, but you kind of enjoy it if you have some vision, and then you kind of follow that path.
Yeah, the my next question is about you coming from a place which is where we can't leave the conversation without speaking about your politics in your films. How subtle sometimes, how sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes documentaries like AFPA is very vocal also. So how do you think a filmmaker hailing from your place make both documentaries and fictional films, which are political, which has to be political, which can't leave? As you said, your films will always have that documentary thing because you're coming from that place. How do you see it?
Well, I think it's also about you definitely, as a person, as a filmmaker, you can't definitely ignore what's happening around you. And especially in my case, I don't know why. Is it because I've been doing seeing or doing documentaries for a long time. It's almost like 13, 15 years that I was doing documentaries. Is it because of that, or I don't know, but my approach has always been, to find out stories from what's happening around me. And it now it has become like, whenever I do a next film, it's more about what is really affecting me now as a person. So I kind of look for those kind of stories. And so if you look at my stories, if you are talking about AFSPA was a certain phase in my life, in Manipur. And maybe when you come, there was Mr. India in between, which where I was talking about HIV. Then Phum is something which, we have a lot of developmental activities coming up in Manipur. Things are changing, but then how developmental works are being done. So maybe it's something which is so it's like what in different phases of my life, whatever is happening, I pick up those subjects. And right now I'm also doing the film I'm going to shoot. It's about the ethnic divide which is killing all of us here in Manipur. Like Manipur is almost like a mini India kind of thing, where we have different communities, and everybody is claiming their land, forest, and it's creating a lot of mistrust among us. And so I'm not saying I just want I'm not saying what is good or bad, but I just want to say something about what's really happening and affecting me right now as a person.
Yeah. One more thing I want to ask is about
Sorry.
your one is how was the reception of Fung Sheng? How was reception of generally your films in India as well as internationally? How do you think as a filmmaker? How is it? How?
Uh, well,
Because why I ask is I
because
know
yeah.
documentaries which is very which has a structure of a documentary, but your fictional film sometimes surpasses both documentary and fictional. So how does this reception part, which is a little bit away from the conventional kind of filmmaking, how do you see your film's reception?
If you're talking about documentaries, I think earlier when I met AFSPA, a lot of people were thinking that, a lot of people asked me whether I'm an activist maker or something like that. Those comments I used to hear. Uh, but sometimes also what I feel is, maybe sometimes you need to, like for example, in Phumsang, uh, I was doing what I felt was right, to do with the film. But sometimes, the community, they want a shorter version of the film, which can be used as, for them to talk to the people or to show it to the people. So it's very different from, I think sometimes, I don't know, I'm confused whether I'm doing justice to the subject or not, because sometimes, you are so much carried away by the cinematic form, the expression, that maybe sometimes you're just missing the uh, that dilemma is always there, whether I'm doing the right thing or not. uh, because as a film student, you want to explore the form, and whether you're doing justice to the cause or not. So that is one thing which it's not people asking me, but I myself, sometimes I have this doubt.
Yeah, art is beautiful when there are confusions when
Yeah.
everything is perfect and you're thinking about it. There is no space for art, is what I think. Yeah, and last part of I think. Last part of the my question is how do you have you shown your films to the communities which you have made? How was
No.
the reception? Because I'll ask a question after you answer this. I have one more related to the distribution system happening in Manipur. How people are watching movies and all. Yeah.
Frankly speaking, I mean, it's very, as I told you earlier, it's very difficult to watch documentaries. And for me, whenever I do a film, I make it a point that I show it to the people before, not before the finishing of the film. During the rough cut stage itself, I show it to the people, so that because I'm playing with sometimes maybe I'm showing overshowing or maybe overexposing something. So I normally I some kind of consent before finishing the film. Maybe because it has to do a lot with their we as filmmakers we forget, and we I think we unknowingly enters different eh, parts of the where maybe we're not supposed to go. So I think it's very important that before you finish the film, you show it to them. But normally, uh, you are dealing with very innocent people. So normally their reaction is always they're always laughing when they watch themselves in front of the camera. So it's mostly those uh, cute reactions. uh, they are always happy that they are in front of the camera.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So
Connected to
I
that, I
think,
should ask
yeah.
one more question. Is I think you when Q&A of IESFK was happening a few years back, I think one of the comments I liked from you was your actors, they tend to act in documentaries, so you make them act in your fictional films. So
Yeah.
can you yeah.
No, because I think everyone somehow, I think, we somehow act, I think everyone acts in front of the camera. And I'm not saying people act in front of the camera, but somehow we become very conscious. And but we roll our camera when, especially in documentaries, I roll my camera when people are comfortable in front of the camera. So I was thinking that if we can do this, in Manipur there are a lot of talented actors. I'm not denying that, but somehow my I think my approach is very realistic, and sometimes you're not very happy with the I'm not quite happy with some actors. So I was, since it's going to be based in the lake, and the fisherman community, the whole body language, I thought that it will be very difficult for uh, an actor. I'm not saying that they won't be able to do it. For an actor to do, become the real, to act like a fisherman. So my idea was to use non-actors, the real people, and use the technique what you use in documentary. The way you deal with people. So I thought I can use that, and somehow I'm quite happy with the results at the after my first feature film.
One question which came was what about the intensity of the rage against the excess and the state repressions happening in all these places which you have made documentaries and generally in Manipur, which is armed for special act and all. How do you view that? How people are responding to it? How artists are responding to it, and common people are responding to it?
You mean to say my films?
No, generally I'm asking as your fraternity, your friends, everyone. Generally, how it's been viewed. Obviously, it will be people will be against state oriented repressions.
Are you talking about the questions written in this thing or?
Yeah, chat. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You can. Okay, it's for everyone. You can.
you can you explain the question to me again?
Uh, I think it's kind of how the state oriented repressions, how people are enraged about it or responding to it. Uh, my
No,
addition to that is how
okay.
general people are.
No. People, I think Manipuri people that way are very vocal. If anything, anti this thing. If yeah, the people are quite vocal. Especially the women are quite vocal about things. Uh, so I mean, you have seen the in AFSPA 90, it was about a lady which was still in custody for the first time. And I think Phum is also about like people telling you to leave the place, and they're burning your houses, burning your huts. And they have quite I think even now also I think 700 huts are remaining, and they are still fighting that they won't leave the place. So I mean that way I think the people of Manipur are quite that way. They are very you can say the especially the women are very courageous, and they're very vocal about things.
Coming back to function, I should
Yeah.
ask you about its editing process also.
Okay.
How much you shot, how much you use, because some of it you have used in the later fictional film also. Uh, what was the ratio, which maybe you can? How did you
Yeah,
manage
we
to
we we
bring
actually
down?
we actually shot a lot. We actually shot a lot because we were shooting. As I told you, it took us around three years. Because we always use, and especially the climax in where the women protest, and that for that we waited for so many days. But it happened only once in the during our whole 3 years. We thought that the authorities will come back again and push them back, but it only happened once. And that is what is there in the end. But what is good about having a script and a clear approach is the editing was quite simple, because you have a certain way of approaching the film. You have decided to do approach the film in a certain way, so that was quite easy to also discard what was not part of it. But obviously, with a digital camera you tend to shoot more, and I think the ratio must be quite huge, maybe 1:60 or 50, I don't remember.
That's
That's
good
a lot.
ratio.
That's a huge, because so many things are happening.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
just about. I think it's not just about the film, but you can try to. You are with them for 3 years.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so many activities are happening there. So you keep on shooting those things also.
Last question, should I ask about your friends, classmates, your crew, who are backbone of your films? Yeah, every
Yeah.
film you make, there's a commune which kind of helps you to make films or helps you to realize your visions. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's also about your approach, how you. I think we should use our resources when your resources is limited. I think you should use your resources, and I'm very lucky to have friends from the film school. Especially, I have a lot of Malayali friends and Bengali friends from the film school, and my this long time collaborator is Sankhojit Biswas from Kolkata. He has been editing all my films since my continuity days. We have been working together since my continuity days. And Sanat Jalal from Kerala. Sanat shot my diploma film. And after that, we have been, whenever we get time, we have been working together. He's shooting my next feature film as well. And it's the good thing is, I think everybody is busy now. Sanat is also quite a known camera person, and when I approached him for my first feature film, he almost agreed to, he did it almost for free. Actually, he didn't take any money, and even my editor, even my sound recordist Sukanto, who's from, we all are classmates from, we studied together in SRFTI. But one good thing which binds us all together is, though everybody is doing, their job and they're doing their work, but they also want to do some different work, different kind of work, and for that they're even ready to, yeah, do it for free.
Yeah, because
But
most of your films are very little budgeted.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even yeah. It is. I have my, unfortunately, my documentary camera person, Iromai Park. I think he got the best cinematography camera award for Phum in IDFSK. Maybe yeah, in 2016 or 14. I forgot. He passed away this year. But I have met a lot of films with him. Uh, and he used to give the camera. I mean, I never used to, give money for the camera. He had a camera, so he always used to give that camera for my films, and I used to pay him very little money, and that's how I made. I made Mr. India, which is also about an HIV positive guy who becomes a bodybuilder after knowing his status. That film also we made like that. So uh, somehow, I have been able to sustain. It's not easy to survive doing documentaries, but I have been able to do it because of my friend circle, my resources, you can say, resources around, um, and which are, I think everybody can also, do this. That's the only way out there. We don't have any. What can we
A
do?
last question comes with your activities in related to film in Manipur, uh,
Mhm.
like film schools or workshops for people to pitch their ideas.
Mhm.
Few of things which you have done previously. Could you because it's a need for young people to have an exposure kind of thing. Uh,
I have somehow, nowadays some people are coming from the film schools. Before me, I think there were hardly people going to the film school from Manipur. We had two seniors from the film school, from one from FTI and one from two from FTI actually. I'm the first person from SRFTI. So I had this exposure of dockage, the way you pitch your project in front of international co-producers and distributors and sales agent. So I wanted the people of Manipur to benefit, especially the young filmmakers, to benefit from this kind of opportunity. So we got in touch with the dockage head, Sri Nilotpal Mazumdar, uh, who is now heading the film school in Manipur, actually. So we brought him in, and we started our own documenter, a mini dockage kind of thing, where you get mentor, you bring in mentors to assess your project, and then at the end of the workshop, you get to pitch in front of the people, and that's how you can develop your project to take it to co-production market, or apply to co-production or production market, because that is the only way. Because in India, it's very limit. You have very limited fund for documentaries, and I think the only way to get funding for a right budget, to get your right budget for your film, is to approach the international television and producers and co-production market. That is the only way to go about it. And even if you want to apply for funds in festivals also have fund for documentaries. So for that also, you need to know how to write a project properly. You need to know how to write your treatment. So we have been doing that regularly in Manipur. We have also started a film school in Manipur, which is yet to function properly. But we brought in Nilotpal Majumdar, who was earlier the dean of SRFTI. So hopefully we will be able to start the course soon. And also I have revived somehow with my friends. I think we also revived the one of the oldest film society in in the entire Northeast, the Manipur Film Society, which I am the general secretary. And that is also to just to watch movies. I think that is also one of the best ways to learn filmmaking. So, but then we started, and the pandemic started. So it was just
Yeah.
1 year of
A lot
film
of films
society.
went into this pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. But I think because of the pandemic, a lot of people are also watching a lot of content, but you don't know what kind of content.
I think we can. It was nice conversation about your philosophy on film, your attempts to make films, your attempt to the next generation or your younger filmmakers. Thanks for spending your valuable time in midst of your
Thank you, Ji.
shoot, which you could spare with us. Thanks a lot for coming to Nila International Folklore Film Festival and
Thank you.
interacting with our audience.
Thank you, Jishnu. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think please ask Paban to share the link of our movies. I'll share you the link of documentaries which we have for our panorama and
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Please
section.
do that.
If you can share with,
Yeah. Let's
yeah,
share it to the other people also.
sure. And I hope we can see
Hope,
more
hope.
films which are more political, strong in its form, and Paban getting into new heights. Thanks a lot from
Thank
the
you.
team Nifi. Thank you.